Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. What a blessing to be part of this community that sees each other every single weekday. For 6.5 years, Sandy and Bensi, Penny and Rifat, good to see all of you. Nechama and Lydia, Boker Tov, everybody. Ashley and Barry, good to see you too. Thanks, Penny. It is broadcast 1620. Scott, nice to see you. Carl and Rosa, Judy and Linda, Boker Tov, everybody. Let's do a few more hellos and then we will sing a bracha and get ready to learn some Torah. And just a sweet heads up, I tuned my guitar. Proud of myself. Gave it a little bit of thought in advance because you've been tolerating a poorly tuned guitar for some time. All right. Susie and Sherry, Patricia and Sunday, Debbie, Jerry and Jack. Good to see all of you. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha, learn some Torah. See, it's better. Everyone, it's good to see all of you. For those who were part of the community yesterday, what a gift it was to share Betsy Stone with all of you. Some of you have learned with her before, have known her and her immense gifts. What a gift it was to have her as part of the broadcast, and we're hoping to do it again together very soon. There is something very beautiful about this week's Torah portion that we began speaking about yesterday, but I wanted to deepen a little bit. We are reading Parshat Ki Tavo, toward the end of the book of Deuteronomy. And the way that it begins is Ki Tavo el haaretz, when you arrive at the land. So number one, the name of the Torah portion is arrival. That's nice to hear. One day we'll make it. And within that notion of arrival, we also have rituals. Because what happens when we make it? So much of the biblical story, so much of the Jewish story, so much of the human story is, is about striving for a world that could be, striving toward a promised land, a promised life. But really, we're not ready to make it. And in these moments of calm, it can be very shocking. There's nothing wrong. That's wrong. I've heard people say that. I felt that myself. And so for us to look at this week's Torah portion and recognize that it is for the people who have arrived already, is to think very deeply about, please God, one day, when the issues before us are not the issues before us, and we are settled in a home that is stable and safe, please God, with neighbors whose homes are stable and safe. And we are told at the very beginning of this Torah portion that we will bring our first fruits, because home in that world is an agrarian farmer world. We would be growing crops and it would be a place where we would cultivate our own nourishment, a capacity no one has in the desert, not conventionally speaking. And so for us to understand that this week's Torah portion is for when we are home and we can plant seeds and harvest what grows. We begin the Torah portion with a practice called bikurim, first fruits. Those first fruits are meant to be brought to the temple as a statement of gratitude. And we are told, it's one of the few times in the Torah that we have a prayer to recite. And we bring a basket of these first fruits, which of course must have been a very difficult thing to do. We've been waiting for decades, for generations, to have this home, this farm, this place to grow crops, to nourish ourselves, and we bring the first things that grow to the priest, which must be a statement of, I know there will be enough. And when we bring it to the priest, he'll take the basket from our hand, put it in front of the mizbeach, put it in front of the altar, and then we will recite. And again, we know this because we recite this at Seder every year. We would say, Aramil vedavi, vayered mitzrayma vayagor sham bimte ma'at, vayhi sham legoy gadol atzum varav. Here's the translation. My father was a fugitive Aramean. He went down to Egypt with meager numbers and sojourned there. But there he became a great and very populous nation. The Egyptians dealt harshly with us and oppressed us. They imposed heavy labor upon us. We cried out to the Eternal, the God of our ancestors. And the Eternal heard our plea and saw our plight, our misery, and our oppression. God freed us from Egypt with a mighty hand, an outstretched arm, and awesome power, with signs and wonders, bringing us to this place and giving us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And so I now bring the first fruits of the soil that you, O Eternal One, have given me. Isn't that amazing to hear? That the language in the book of Deuteronomy, for one day, for when I will have something to offer, an abundance that I can carry in a basket and offer to God, for me to recite this very strange, because it is, history of how I got here. My ancestor was a wandering Aramean, which means homeless. And he went from here to there and there to here, and he went to Egypt, and they were harsh to him. And then we called out to God, who heard us and brought us here. So that's how I got here. There are so many things that are skipped. All the vagaries of the journey. We spoke about this yesterday, and often this is part of what Tavo evokes, a recognition that whenever we tell history, it's a partial history. It isn't quite a mirror of the past. It is highlights, but not even the highlights you expect. Sinai isn't there, and splitting the sea isn't there. How strange to tell the story. Also, the hundreds of years of enslavement that are not listed. This is the good parts of the story. And it's not that I think we should replace accurate history with selections. That's not a good way of knowing who we are, nor a good way of teaching history. But it is an interesting question for us to think to ourselves, why? Why is this the story that we tell? Why are these the parts of the story that we tell? Why, as we are holding this basket and giving of our abundance to God through the priest, do we recite, this is how we got here. My ancestor had no home. We then went to Egypt where it was hard. You brought us out into this beautiful place, and that's how I got here. Number one, it's memorable. It's a digest of a story. And when it doesn't bring out is the miracle of Sinai and the miracle of splitting the sea. In fact, the miracles that we are talking about are liberation and then cultivating the land. These are contrast. Liberation, God did for us, as it says, with an outstretched arm, awesome power, signs and wonders. But what does it mean to bring fruit? It means cultivating the land is miraculous too. That anything grows from the land is miraculous too. And this, I believe, this telling of the story and the physical act of bringing the crops for Bikurim is meant to give us a sense of gratitude that what we can accomplish with our hands can be just as miraculous as anything that's been done for us. And so there's a lot to talk about here. The absence of parts of the story, specifically Sinai and the splitting of the sea. How can we have that story without that? But you might ask at the same time, why not the 7 rebellions that are listed in the book of Numbers that we just finished? Why aren't they included in the story? I think the answer is because that's not the part of the story that we want to accentuate when we're trying to live forward through time. If we are telling a true history, if we're trying to do character education, we have to know all of those potholes that we created or that we fell into or that caused significant bumps to the vehicle of our people. But it is also the case that not every moment is meant to be a full litany of everything we've been through. Some moments are meant to be defined by gratitude. So what do we offer, friends, today? What do we offer? As we live forward, what do we offer? May we be so blessed to know that we have abundance within us to offer, and to allow gratitude to flow in and through us, because that is the way to live forward. To be defined by gratitude is no small thing. So let's take a breath, send our hearts to the east, contemplate what we can offer, and sing. Kol hod balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.